Be right back. All right, let's get it started. Good evening. Good day if you're tuning in another time. Um, so tonight, I want to start by saying it was an unhappy Kwanzaa. I was in the spirit of Kwanzaa tonight. I had my two boys with me. We were at the indoor playground that my wife and I bring them to, and there was a Kwanzaa event tonight, which I was unaware of, and my wife texted me, said, "Yeah, I'm going to take y'all to this event, Kwanzaa event," and I got into the spirit of Kwanzaa. I'm here in Washington D.C. and I'm sharing this story, y'all. I'm getting to it in terms of the purpose of this story. So we arrive at the event. It's at a African school, private African school, and interestingly enough, as I was coming into the school, I said, you know what, this might be a school that I should consider having my boys at. My boys are 4 and 7, and when we walk, it's me and my two boys, and I'm excited. I'm in the spirit of Kwanzaa, Habari Gani, Ujama. Tonight is Ujama. Really, really excited about all of the people that I haven't seen in years in the community. Seeing some African drumming, some African dancing. I was really psyched for tonight, only to get into the building and have a guy handing out face masks. And I'm like, I don't need one. And he's like, well, you can't go in without a mask. I said, man, I mean, I'm at an African center school. We're in Kwanzaa week, only to walk in an institution that is about a certain level of consciousness, right? African consciousness, a Kwanzaa level of consciousness. I mean, think about the energy it took to come up with the principles behind Kwanzaa, right? That takes not only a higher level of understanding, it takes a spiritual awareness, it takes a knowledge of history and spiritual principles, right? I'm walking into an institution that is the embodiment of all of that historically. And they tell me I got to wear a mask to go in. Of course, I did not go in. Well, I went in only to turn around and leave. And of course, I see people walking around. Either they got their mask pulled down or they don't have a mask on at all. I mean, it goes to show you that because obviously this decision was made by I guess the higher ups at the institution. I mean, had this been at a DC public school, I wouldn't have had to wear a mask. I mean, this is a private African institution that's not getting any public funding. That's really just sold out. Well, I shouldn't say sold out. The more appropriate term or terminology would be that they have fallen for the okie doke completely. And one of the things that really occurred to me was that, coming up in, I'm born in the early 70s and coming up as a teenager in the 80s, growing up with hip hop culture. One of the things about early hip hop culture was the consciousness that came with hip hop, right? And that consciousness that came with hip hop, a lot of that was political, socio-economical, which led me down a path to ultimately find what my purpose was in life was, which is health, food, wellness, etc. But it started with that consciousness. Part of it was, understanding African history, African consciousness, which is what we're in this week of Kwanzaa. And to go into an African-centered institution, yes, an African-centered institution, and say you can't go in and celebrate Kwanzaa with the community without a mask. It's like, I mean, I could have said, all right, let me put the mask on if I need to pull it down, if I want to breathe, are they going to make bones about it? But no. I mean, first of all, I know my boys are not going to wear they mask. I'm not wearing I ain't worn no mask in over a year. And here it was so disappointing. So, I mean, again, I was so hyped for Kwanzaa tonight to see people I probably haven't seen in years, to Ujama, I believe, is cooperative economics. I was looking to spend some money with some African vendors. I was looking to hear some drumming. I was so upset. So tonight was unhappy Kwanzaa for me. But anyway, enough about that. Enough about that. Yeah, so tonight, I just wanted to come on before the new year. I wanted to, I don't want to be on too long. If y'all saw the last live stream presentation, the Great Reset, one of the big focuses was on sleep, the importance of sleep. So this is the hour. This is the hour we should be going to sleep. We should be getting that good rest in. So I really wanted to reflect on that presentation, kind of review it, reflect on it, mention some of the highlights. Yeah, so we're coming off the winter solstice, and still fasting. Well, to be 100, I'm actually transitioning into food. So for me, because for me, last year this has been totally different than this year has been totally different than last year. Last year it was I was basically isolated, like literally isolated on a farm. Had nothing but the juices that I was making And that was, I mean, again, it was just the best environment to be, in the tropics, the warm weather, the again, that farm nature life. It was, um, so this year, not only being in the city, making food every day, um, so it pretty much had to be a modified fast for me, if I can call it that, in the sense that, all throughout I'm tasting because I'm making food. Um, so this week, while I haven't like eaten a meal per se, I've been doing like juices, fruits, and smoothies, basically throughout this entire month. During the solstice week, there was at least 3 days where it was just coconut water. So I've pretty much been, and this is the thing, and I think what I'm gonna do is really go into, because oftentimes, it may be really easy to do only liquids, only water. Oftentimes, sometimes, and well, when it's easy, you go with that. But oftentimes, life can challenge us in other ways where it may require us to maybe do water juices and smoothies, or just water juices, and but at the highest level in terms of ingesting is water, juices, smoothies, and fruits. And if we keep it there, your body is still going to heal. Your body's still going to have a rest, which is essentially what the fast is for. The fast is essentially, what we're trying to do is extend the sleep process. This During sleep, which we went into, we did a deep dive with our Great Reset lecture, and I'm going to review the highlights of that and get any reaction now that I can interact with the audience. Well, with you as the audience, YouTube and Instagram. Um, the purpose of fasting, as we identified how vital sleep is, fasting really allows it's almost like the extension of that sleep. So it's like we're still sleeping and getting the benefits of sleeping during the waking hours, during the sunlight hours. That's the power of fasting. So even if we're doing water, smoothies, juices, and even fruits. And when I say fruits, I mean high water, high moisture fruits, um, citrus, mangoes, papaya, pineapple, pomegranate. Um, those will keep, even though you're chewing and eating and digestion. I mean, you're pretty much eating water, by if you're doing fruits as well. So that's essentially what I've been doing for the greater part of this month. So I haven't gone away from that yet. Next week, I mean, look, I may end up remaining here, because even when I'm tasting the food that I make, and when the food that I'm making is savory, it's flavorful, it's spicy, it's heavy. We're talking like, heavy salads, and things like wild rice, and entree dishes that have nuts, and heavy fat protein, raw cuisine. That food is very, very, very filling. And so we'll see. I'm taking it day by day, week to week. Um, so, so, all right. So let's review. A couple of weeks, about 2 weeks ago, we did the lecture, the Great Reset, and essentially what I wanted to stress was the importance of sleep. And with sleep, a couple of highlights. One, the main the main point, the main driver was to say that we're in a basically during the December month, especially this month of December, but essentially all of the winter months, that is really our hibernation time. And during the hibernation time, when we talk about how the sun affects not only our daily, it affects our daily cycle on every level. We only know the time based on the record or the movement of the sun. Yes, I said that right. The movement of the sun. So with the movement of the sun being where it is now, it is basically moving over on the other side of the world. And that is going to affect our hormones, our sleep. It affects our consciousness. Okay. So if that's true on a daily level, it's also true on an annual level. It's very true on the times of when we celebrate our annual solar return, when we feel the energy of that. So if we can all associate and vibrate with that, we can all definitely associate it with the fact that the sun is furthest away. Last week it was furthest away from this part of the earth where we are in the northern hemisphere than any other time of the year. So this month, that week especially, was a hibernation week. This month is a hibernation month. This season is a hibernation season, which makes sleep, how we sleep and how we eat, it brings that into primary focus, which is what hibernation is about. Hibernation is about basically an extended sleep where you're not eating, you're not moving, you're not doing anything. So when we capitalize on that, when we take advantage of not moving, not eating, or at least limiting, we're obviously getting we're still getting relevant sun energy every day. So when we limit it during this month, even next month, and maybe even going into February, it is going to empower us. We only get energy from sleep. We don't get energy from food. We don't get energy from stimulants. We don't get healing from any of these things. We get healing and energy from sleep. So knowing that that is a fact, when we're able to again capitalize on that now we're talking about the Great Reset. All right, so that's the main point that I really wanted to bring out with the presentation, and it's worth repeating. A couple of things that I wanted to mention on the side of that. Alarm clocks. If you're waking up to an alarm clock, you're taking years off your life. If you're waking up to an alarm clock, you are taking years off your life. If you use an alarm clock, you should be using it at night. The alarm clock should be used at night to tell you that it's time to go to sleep. so that you can wake up without an alarm clock in the morning. If you need to wake up with an alarm clock in the morning, you're not going to bed early enough. And one of the key things, in addition to the length of sleep, now it's funny because being in this lifestyle, I can remember over 20 years ago, getting into this lifestyle. A lot of people at that time it was almost like a badge, or like a medal, you could get if you didn't need as much sleep. Only need 3 hours, only need 4 hours. I only need, I mean, to me, that's nothing to hang your hat on. That's nothing to, write home about. That's nothing to, pump your fist talking about you need only, you can get by only 3 or 4 hours of sleep. This question is right on time. If your fasting is natural, if you're fasting, is it, let me post it. Yeah, if you're fasting, is it natural to need less sleep? At times it is. So that's the interesting thing, is that when you eat less, your body requires less, or if you're not eating at all, you may not need to sleep as much. But however, again, in this time, I don't know. I mean, when I think about the decades I've been doing this, when I don't eat, or when I'm eating less, yes, I can definitely get by on less sleep. I could definitely have more energy to do more work with less sleep. But it's almost like, I don't know, I love to sleep. I love sleep. Like, who doesn't love sleep? Like, I don't know, it just feels so good to be in that coma, to be in that state. And and the other thing too is that, in people, whether it be like, in the self-improvement world, entrepreneurial, go get it, like, those folks that are the rah-rah, like, if you're sleeping, you're basically wasting your life away. I mean, it's like, I look at those folks as, the same way that I look at people that are driving fast in traffic. It's like you're going nowhere fast. If you're waking up, cheating yourself of an hour or 2 or 3 of sleep every night to accomplish your goals, there's a price you're going to pay for that. Yes, you may be able to achieve or make more money, or get more done in, I guess, it's not less time, because you're getting less sleep, so you're essentially, again, cheating that healing, that extra hour or 2 of healing, of regeneration, of recharging the cells, the energy, the time that you spend. I mean, because, where are we when we sleep? We're in that other world when we sleep. See, we are really we are spiritual beings first and foremost. We all know that. If you're on this channel, you watching me, you know that we are led by spirit first and foremost. And it is that sleep time that reconnects us with that. So if we're cheating ourselves of that extra time of that reconnection with spirit, with God, saying that, oh, I need more time to be in this world of illusion to achieve said goals that got me going nowhere fast, running in this rat race. So I say all that to say, even when fasting, even when we don't need to sleep, I still take it. I'm taking it. And even when I may feel like I can wake up, I can be productive, that can be an extra time, extra meditation time. That's what that time needs to be. That time needs to be in even if you were to actually raise up out of bed, that is journal time, that is reflection time during this time of the year. Now, if we're in the middle of summer, this is a whole different conversation. I'm not talking none of this kind of talk. This is hibernation time. This is winter solstice time. Now, if you find yourself unable to sleep 6, 7, 8 hours, now I can't sleep. I mean, my maximum is probably 9 hours. I could go 9 hours. I mean, who who says that? How long can you sleep? I could go, not every night. On most nights, I could definitely go 9 hours. What makes you able to get that not only quantity of sleep, but quality of sleep? Now, that's some of the things I talked about in the lecture, and that's worth highlighting now. One is what you're doing during the sunlight hours. Now, I mentioned when I'm in the Caribbean, closer to the equator, in the tropics, when I spent time in Brazil, Panama, all through the Caribbean, was in Ghana last year. It's the same thing every time. When you're in that intense sun environment and you're getting that good sun, that's going to stimulate the serotonin, which I call the sun hormone. I don't think it's a coincidence that they both serotonin, both start with the S, which is going to later on stimulate the melatonin, which is the moon hormone. So that's probably the biggest thing right there. Obviously, it's cold out here. If you're not in the tropics, the sun energy is not going to be as intense. It's not going to be as intense. So what do you do? Well, you still got to get out there. Like today I think it was in the 60s here in DC. So there's no excuse to not get at least an hour of sun, but also exercise. But again, remember, we're in hibernation season, so the exercise needs to be gentle. It needs to be walking, light yoga if you're doing yoga, light aerobics if you're doing that, but nothing too strenuous, nothing too hard or heavy. Again, we have the spring, summer, and even fall months to really, if you're really into heavy, working out, training, but this is rest time. This is rejuvenation time. But in order to create that good sleep, exercise is a component, no doubt about it. So we got sun, we got exercise. And then obviously, last but not least, is food. If you're eating a healing diet, then that's going to also help with creating good sleep. Now, the other part of this is when the evening time is upon us, and when it's time to go to bed, time to lay down. Then, yes, I'm gonna post a comment. Yes, Aunt Knox says yes. Quality, no TV, no music, nothing, no light, complete darkness. That is 100% key. No light. One of the things, if those of us that live in cities, you may have, you may live on a busy block. You got street lights, you got traffic. I live on a busy street here in Washington, D.C. But fortunately, the room that I sleep in, complete darkness, no sound. I mean, it could be 2 o'clock. If I had everything off, it could be 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I wouldn't know. I would think it's 2 o'clock in the night. So that's the cave you want to create for your sleep. Important. They've even found that even if light is touching, like even if it's not in your face, but it's touching like behind you, like any part of your body, it's going to affect your sleep. So we have these artificial lights, we got these phones, we got the radiation, we got Wi-Fi. I mean, none of this would be happening without the Wi-Fi running in my house. So it would be an excellent idea to turn off the Wi-Fi, turn off all the lights, put your phones on airplane mode or whatever works, and really limit the radiation, the EMF. Very important. The other thing is to get you a grounding mat. I've been talking about this for years now. The power of earthing. If you don't get a chance, I mean, to me, to earth while you're sleeping is the most powerful time to be earthing. I mean, it's great to get outside and walk barefoot on the grass, and even exercise on the grass, which is what I try to do year round. I like to do my yoga outside on the grass year around. Like if it's above a certain temperature and it's a good day for me and I got the time, then I'm going to be doing my workout outside barefoot on the grass. But that's maybe an hour or two. I mean, to be able to earth and ground while you're sleeping 7 to 9 hours is going to be way more powerful. Now, it all is powerful. Don't get me wrong. I mean, you want to go to sleep. I mean, you want to earth as much as you can. I mean, we should be earthing 24/7, 365. But if again, we live in this, artificial environment. What did I call it? Yes, in my lecture I said there's two worlds. We got the natural spiritual world, which is what we connect with when we sleep. We connect to that natural spiritual world when we sleep, and we should be grounded. And I mean, we really should be. I mean, if we really want to keep it all the way 100, I mean, we should be out in the tent, like on the earth, sleeping on the earth. But I ain't even ready for that. At least not in this environment. Now, when I get my resort somewhere in the tropics, then that's when we're gonna be. That's when we go. That's when we'll be. That's when we'll be in business. But no, we all live in this artificial virtual world, and in this artificial virtual world, we need to ground. So go on earthen.com. They had a Black Friday deal. Maybe they have a New Year's deal. But go on there, get your sleep mat. It's a worthwhile investment. What's also nice is to get. Let me grab my meter, because you want to test it. You know, this is my grounding, my body voltmeter. Like you hold this and it tests your voltage. And I've shown this before. I don't need to demonstrate it, but you know, I'm grounding right now. Like I stay when I'm here in front of the computer at my desk. I got a grounding mat right on the floor, and I'm grounded. So it hooks up into the grounding port. It basically zeroes out any positive charge in my body. So all of this is creating positive EMFs, but the earth is negative, and it creates it basically, when it has that skin on skin contact, it creates a flood. Basically, it's an instant transfer of negative charged particles that reduce inflammation, which again is positively charged energy in your body. So any stagnation, any toxicity that's in your body, the earthing is going to help. So that's going to definitely help us connect to our natural spiritual world, or our natural spiritual reality, while we are sleeping. Yes. So being that we are in that hour, I want to wrap this up, but I want to thank y'all. I mean, as far as 2022, this will be my last video for the year for sure. I'm gonna be really busy this weekend. You know, everybody's on their New Year's resolution kick, getting healthy, and you know, for me that means, you know, everybody wants to juice cleanse, and that's great. It's fantastic. So I definitely wanted to come on here and you know, share this last time. Again, yeah, if y'all just joining, you want to go back and watch the beginning of this video. I talked about my unhappy Kwanzaa event time, which was unfortunate, but it is what it is. I mean, and it goes to show the main point I wanted to make about that, you know, given that Kwanzaa is let's say it's a form of really one of the highest forms of that we've seen of African consciousness, right? And you know, one of the things, and again, I mentioned the fact that growing up in the 70s and 80s, and you know, growing up with early hip hop culture, which was a form of African consciousness, is which is what allowed me to find. It was through that it led me to the path of health. Okay, being socially conscious and culturally conscious, you know, it led me to say, you know, to find the health books, the health conscious books, right next to the socially conscious books, right, the politically conscious books. And I really gravitated. It was, you know, I was really excited about the healthy, so much so that now this is my life. All right. So, and it goes to show you that the highest form of consciousness, it got to be your health consciousness. Because I can go into an African centered institution, right? One that has been a rock here in DC for educating African American youth, right? But I go in there and say, I can't enjoy this Kwanzaa event unless I cut off my oxygen flow. Unless I cut off my oxygen flow and be unhealthy for 2 hours, I can't enjoy with the community the spirit of Kwanzaa. So that's my Kwanzaa spiel. So it really goes to show you, if the health conscious was on the same level or somewhere near the level of African consciousness, we wouldn't be talking about no mass. I mean, I'm surprised they weren't asking for our vaccine cards. It's ridiculous. So yeah, I'm calling them out. I hope that this message circles back, because we got to be better. Of course, I didn't stay and want to challenge, and even though I was in full Kwanzaa spirit tonight. I wanted to see some drumming and some dancing, and more importantly, celebrate Ujamaa, cooperative economics. I wanted to spend some money with some African vendors, but none of that happened. All right. So, 2022 is almost out of here. We're coming into 2023. I hope that you have been journaling. I hope that you have reflected on the past year, the victories and the losses, and how we all can improve upon those things. If anything, if you, like as I said earlier, if you're waking up with an alarm clock, we want to make sure that if we're going to use the alarm clock, you're using the alarm clock at night to let you know that it's time for bed, so that you don't have to wake up with the alarm clock in the morning. Because what does that do? If you got to wake up with the alarm clock in the morning, then that's going to allow you to reach for the stimulant. And the caffeine, people looking for natural caffeine. Like the more health oriented folks is saying, okay, I'm not going to drink the coffee, but I'm going to drink the more healthy stimulant. It's not healthy. It's not healthy. Sleep is one of the I mean, it's crazy for me to say this. It's got to be more important than food. It's got to be more important than food. Sleep and exercise. I mean, even 2 months ago, I don't know if I would have said that. So it's amazing that, as much as I've dedicated my 30 years of my life has been dedicated to being the healthiest I can be. Now I've never cheated myself on sleep. I mean, we all have moments where we have to wake up and we got responsibilities and things of that nature. I'm not saying I never did that. Of course I've done that. I got responsibilities out here. But for the most part, I've never consistently not gotten my sleep. And if I have to wake up early on a particular day, trust me, I am going to find time to catch up on that sleep. If it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, later that day, if it's later that week, I am going to find that time to catch up on that sleep. Because we got to connect. If we're going to really get the most out of this physical vehicle in this artificial virtual reality, we got to connect with that natural spiritual. We got to connect with that natural spiritual. So that's what the theme of 2023 is going to be: connecting with the natural spiritual, understanding that the artificial virtual is here. And if the powers that be have any say, they only putting more and more pressure, making it more and more of an artificial virtual reality that we live in. No doubt about it. I mean, it is getting real out here. I mean, the computers and cell phones is one thing. Every device that we have out here is connected. They listening, they watching, they monitoring, they radiating. So we gotta eat the best we can. We gotta exercise. We gotta do conscious exercising, deep breathing, meditation, yoga, qigong, dance. I love dance. I did capoeira, Angola for many years. I did house dancing, break dancing as well. Yeah, your brother can move out here. But yoga is my thing. Yoga's my thing. I'm a yogi at heart. So what are y'all doing? How are y'all moving? And more important than all of that is sleep. All of that. So that's letting me know I gotta wrap this up. I'm gonna look at some comments, some questions. First question here. Do you think it's okay to drink your urine if you have UDI or kidney stone, etc.? Absolutely, absolutely. Again, the urine is never toxic. It's never waste, especially if you got kidney stones. The urine is going to be the best thing, or one of the best things. I mean, the urine is not. Y'all know how I feel about urine. It's near and dear to me. I've been doing it for a few years. And while it is a medicine that we create for sure, and it's for free. It's going to work together with every other health and healing protocol, especially sleep. So it's not one thing that makes us unhealthy. It's not one thing that makes us healthy. It's the army that we have to create when we're trying to, especially when we're trying to correct something like kidney stones. Any modality that's happening within the body. It didn't happen overnight, and it's not going to take overnight to fix it. It's going to take time. It's going to take dedication. It's going to take right knowledge and right actions to correct any the things that are wrong, or the things that has developed, because these things often take decades to develop within us. Again, they just don't happen overnight. But like I said, in this art, especially in this artificial virtual reality, we are being radiated on as we speak. All of us, we are being radiated on. All right. I got another question on YouTube from Yoga. Sometimes I can sleep only 5 or 6 hours, but when I wake, I feel rested and can carry on for the day. Is that okay? Yeah, that is okay. I mean, some of us it's like that. Again, I would imagine I'm gonna take a wild guess. I'm assuming you do yoga. It was, I think that was your name gave it away. Yoga. So yeah, doing a holistic practice like yoga, um again, that's going to help create quality sleep. It's not always about the quantity, but certainly about the quality. And what I will say is that if you only, if you find that that suits you, that you can get by on 5 to 6 hours of sleep, then I still would take it at least 30 minutes to an hour, whether it's before you go to bed or after you wake, to have quiet, dark time. To use that time to meditate, to reflect, to connect again with the natural spiritual. The thing is that when we look at sleep, we look at sleep, or when we look at the mind. Let's look at the mind. When we wake, we're on conscious mind. When we sleep, it's subconscious. But when we meditate, it's in between. It's conscious and subconscious. We've lowered our conscious activity and we've raised that subconscious activity. And really that's like the best of both worlds. So that would be my suggestion. And as a yoga, last thing I'll say is that as a yoga practitioner, I'm sure you get in, you have your sutras and your mudras and those things that you can do, the chanting. So that's what I would really get into. All right, shout out to Sister Indigo. Yes, you look very youthful. Day 12 for me, and I would like to go longer than 15 days this time. Yes, 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 yes. Salute. And yes, uh big up for that. I'm proud of you. I can remember last year, and this was all, I think, new to you. So again, and this is how it works, when we start something, and we're on the right healing path. The body wants us to continue down that path, and we really start to elevate and build upon, and we lay that foundation. And this is foundation laying time. Winter solstice, winter hibernation is when, I thought about this tonight. This is the time when, because when, we've all, because again, I was so disheveled with my whole Kwanzaa tonight. Again, I'm back on Kwanzaa because I was so excited. Last year I wasn't even here to celebrate Kwanzaa with the community. Well, again, I guess it was COVID time, so I guess there was no Kwanzaa celebrations. But this year, it's like, did they not get the memo that COVID is over? That nobody's wearing masks now. And if you want to wear a mask, you choose to wear a mask and it's all good. You can wear your mask. But to force me to say I can't enjoy my Kwanzaa, oh man, I didn't got back off on a tangent. But what I'm trying to say is that we have all been we have all been programmed from the beginning, since we entered into this artificial virtual reality. We've been artificially and virtually programmed from the time of our birth. It is during this time where our programming is susceptible to change. It is now ripe now for to be impressed upon, to be altered and changed. This is the time now. Only when again, we don't get caught up in the lights, in the noise. It's only when, again, we 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 get not only the right, because obviously we got to get the right information, but it's not enough to even have the right information, because something like saying that, oh, in order for me to go and enjoy an Africa conscious event, we all got to cover our faces and not breathe properly in order to enjoy. So again, that was a programming. That's all due to some programming. And who am I to undo that programming with my argument? Right? Like, again, I would be wasting my breath. So again, but we're trying to program our spirits to not only become healthy, we become wealthy. When we become more wealthy in this artificial virtual reality, we begin to create options. And those options could, again, have us to make choices where we can be more into the natural spiritual, because we have the wealth to do that. So for 2023, we got to be focused on our wealth creation. So in your meditation tonight, we're going to be meditating on health and wealth. See, since we're healthy, that gives us the opportunity to be wealthy. And we can attain wealth without compromising our health. See, a lot of these wealthy multimillionaires and even billionaires and even a couple of 100,000aires, I mean, these people are the most unhealthiest people, because they're sacrificing their health to get that wealth. We can create the best of both worlds, because we really don't have an option. And I'm going to be sharing some things for 2023. Matter of fact, that might be my next presentation. I gave was it 2 years ago? I think it was 2 years ago. I talked about crypto. And this was right before the crypto had took off 2020 into 2021, and I was ready. Yeah. So maybe this year, I'm going to be sharing what I'm doing, because I'm working on me. Like, I'm not just out here talking it, I'm walking it. And but there is no wealth without shared wealth. So if you're out there and you have it, then you need to share it, whether and it's not about sharing your actual money, it's about sharing how you how you got that money, how you got that wealth. Because they say you teach a man to fish and he'll eat for a lifetime. So we got to all teach one. All right. So it's another question on grounding. I've been looking into those grounding mats. Do they still have dirty electricity though? No, that actually, I mean, electricity is a necessary evil, unfortunately. But no, the grounding port is the clean, I guess, the clean electricity. You got to really read the story of Clint Ober. He's the one that really kind of discovered the whole earthing idea in terms of what it is and how it works. Yes, it does come through, but that circle, when we have those two slits in that circle, that grounding port, is a line, is a cable that literally goes into the earth. And if you don't want to go that route, there's actually rods. Like, you can buy a rod, like a metal rod, a conducting rod, and stick it outside into the earth and run a cord or a cable or something that connects to it, that's going to conduct that grounding energy and connect it to something that's conductive, and touch it, and you'll be grounded. So the short answer is no. Yes, and like I said, when as my brother Bongo mentioned, again, when I got into I can remember, back in the late 90s, early 2000s, when I got into this lifestyle, a lot of the raw foodists was like, lauding the fact that they didn't need so much sleep, and I never bought into that, that idea. I mean, I think to get a wholesome 8 hours of sleep, is you doing yourself good. You doing your body good. All right. So yeah, I'm just taking questions. I'm reading through the comments here. Okay, here's a question about Ghana and the vaccine. Look, get your okay, I can share this. They require, now, for those of you interested going to Ghana, now, one thing I find is interesting about Ghana is, to my knowledge, Ghana is the only West African country that's requiring the yellow fever vaccine. I did not take the yellow fever vaccine. When my wife went to go get the vaccine, because I was like, look, I'm not taking the vaccine. There's no way. Like, if they turn me away at the airport, then they turn me away. But what she did find out was, when she went to go get the vaccine, is that if you have a egg allergy, that they'll give you a medical exemption, and they'll give you a card, and it'll be all good to go. So you go to the center, wherever I forget what it's called, but you can get a medical exemption, and they'll accept that. Now, as far as the COVID vaccine, I believe you have to be COVID vaxxed to get into Ghana, which is why I ain't going back to Ghana. Now, I can get the fake card, and I mean, how they gonna know if I really wanted to go? And I have some cards, cards, with an S. So, if you really want to go to Ghana, but there's other options. I just don't like the fact that, that they require that. Again, that just shows you their level of consciousness, and that their level of bowing down to the West, and the Western medical system, big pharma, etc., etc. I'm not cool with that, and don't want to be in a place that's going to require, and if it's like they require that, I mean, how far will they go to push, or to abide, to bow down to, I should say, these elites, or I shouldn't even call them elites, um, degenerates, these megalomaniacs. So, that's my thing. That's my thing with them. All right. Yes. So I will be open this weekend If y'all here in the city, y'all here in Washington D.C., I am at Cane and Coconut on Georgia Avenue. I got the raw food. If you're interested in the juice cleanse, this is the season. Everybody's on their juice kick, and rightfully I'm ready to go to sleep. I'm slurring my words, but yes, rightfully so. There should be. You can go to KeppersRawFoodJuiceBar.net. Um, let's see here. Yeah, it's an uphill battle. It's rough out here. All right, I think that's it. If Yeah, I appreciate y'all. I want to say happy solstice, happy Kwanzaa. Even though I had an unhappy Kwanzaa this evening, um, it was a challenging year for me, I will say, but nonetheless, it was necessary. It's all good. We all here on this journey. Um, Stay tuned. We're gonna be definitely pushing the envelope for 2023. Got some exciting things planned. Like I said, we're gonna always be on the health, but the health is gonna allow us to create the foundation in the bricks. We lay in the bricks for the wealth. We lay in the bricks for the longevity, for family building. We got to build family out here. We got to create the new generation that's going to be healthy, because they trying to, what they trying to do to us. They trying to just really kill us softly and not softly, with everything out here in this artificial virtual reality. So it's all about creating that health so we can create that wealth, and we can create options for ourselves so that we can live the best our best life, and our best lives out here collectively, so that we can really get the most out of this thing called life. And ironically enough, the tenet for us to do that is to get sleep. To actually disconnect, or I should say reconnect with that true artificial spiritual. When we reconnect with that true natural spiritual. See, I'm twisting it all up, because I should be connected with that natural spiritual. We connected that natural. We go into that coma. We go into that deep sleep state. We connect with God, and that's it. So the more we do that, the more we can enjoy this time, uh uh in this this artificial virtual, as I call it. All right, peace, one love, all that stuff. Share, like, subscribe, all that. Y'all already know. So again, I want to say happy new year, and to all of y'all, I love y'all. I will see y'all on the flip side of 2023. Peace, love, happiness, health, wealth, all that.